Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another weather forecast here by Agents Weather Forecast. And this is going to be an update here on major winter storm Uri as it is continuing to bring in some snow across portions of the Pacific Northwest and as well portions of the Rockies. And it will become a lot more widespread as we now get into early next week, including tomorrow and especially Monday. It'll be extremely significant across portions of the Gulf Coast. As of now, windstorm watches, advisories, and alerts in general keep becoming more widespread and issued across the general United States here. So we're continuing to see growing confidence. And we just got new model runs coming in that just reloaded a few minutes ago. So we have new data. In this video, we'll be covering the location here, what models predict accumulation of snow and ice, and who can get the worst. All that will be talked about throughout this video here. But if you still have any questions at the end of the video, then be sure to drop them in the comments below and I'll do my best to respond to them, of course. And as well, if you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe because I really do appreciate all the support you guys can get. And if you want to get notified as soon as I do a video on whether it's Uri or any other topic, be sure to hit the post notification icon. But yeah, without further ado, let's get in the video. So this is now going to be a look here at what we're going to be seeing here for the National Weather Service. So we do actually have a widespread amount of actually winter storm warnings. So you can kind of see a very widespread amount of winter storm warnings across portions of the South Century. Look at that. The whole state of Arkansas, almost all of Texas is under some type of alert. You can see just a little southwestern tip, but even El Paso is under a winter weather advisory, which is not something you see too often. But the whole state of Oklahoma is under a warning. I mean, we have a super widespread amount of warnings. I mean, this is a lot more than what Benji brought. We have winter storm warnings across Jackson, Mississippi, winter storm warnings for the whole state of Arkansas. Winter storm warnings are not being issued into far western Tennessee near Memphis. So we have actually a winter storm warning for Houston, which has actually not happened since 2017. But you can see how widespread these alerts are, all the way from areas far into Idaho into areas like Vermont, where we actually have now windstorm watches. So watches are in effect for areas like New Mexico, far southern Texas, as well portions of far southern Mississippi, and on the coast of Louisiana, and as well as watches stretch from Alabama all the way up the Ohio River Basin, all the way up to the Great Lakes here. So very, very widespread threats here. So there you see that the advisories continue to be issued across areas more towards the north and the Midwest region. And of course, we actually have some hard freeze warnings down all the way to the border with Mexico. So this is actually extremely widespread. I mean, we have almost 50% of mainland United States under some type of alert today. And most of it actually is because of the windstorm Uri, and we actually have a blizzard warning. I believe this is actually a blizzard warning issued now for far southern New Mexico, and I believe up there in Texas, that's actually a blizzard warning in that dark red county. And there you kind of see those alerts and warnings kind of more towards the Pacific Northwest from Uri. But let's go ahead now and check a look at what we're going to be seeing here for the next few hours. So you can kind of see in the next around six-ish hours there, we have that low pressure there burning some pretty extremely heavy snow across portions of the Rockies there, and as well, and even all the way down to areas like the Sierras, we can get some nice snow. We actually saw a nice snow day for Seattle and Portland today, but this all is possible because this major cold front here from the strong, super duper strong high pressure that's going to bring in extremely cold Arctic air all the way down to the United States border with New Mexico. But as we now go later on now into the next 12-ish hours, that snow continues to go more to the south, and as that high pressure does move more into the United States, this cold air will continue to increase by becoming more widespread and getting a lot worse. So at this point, we're going to be seeing well below freezing temperatures all the way down to areas like the Gulf Coast. At this point, by tomorrow, that snow will become a lot more widespread as it does move southward, though. That snow is stretching now into areas like Kansas, Texas, and as well still bringing some very heavy snow across Colorado and New Mexico. But now to later tomorrow afternoon, evening. So there's actually that high pressure right there. It's all the way actually down to areas like Minnesota. So it actually is moving pretty far to the United States here. And there you see that low pressure is going to allow for that cold moisture to convert into heavy snow. So anything kind of near this high pressure won't get any snow because the high pressure is so strong. It'll be a very dry atmosphere. So there really won't be anything really coming down at that point. But we're going to be seeing that main snow kind of more towards the south central because we actually have moisture and it's this low pressure right here, that source. Kind of the areas off the Gulf there, you can kind of see it is going to be coming off the Gulf and bringing a ton of moisture off the Gulf Coast, and that high pressure going to bring that very deep cold layer of air is going to allow for this precipitation to become very heavy rain. Whether it's the coast or anything, it's going to be frozen precipitation because it's so darn cold in these areas. We're talking heavy snow for areas like Houston, Alexandria, areas near Lake Charles, and that snow's going to stretch all the way from Texas to areas like the Great Lakes here. So heavy snow across Columbus, heavy snow across Cincinnati by this is now by Monday, and this will continue to get more significant across portions of areas as well into the Mississippi River Basin there, near Monroe, Jonesboro, now getting to Memphis, and this ice will continue to become a bigger threat now, getting near Baton Rouge, and continue to go into areas like Mississippi, Alabama, and that's going to stretch all the way from New Hampshire to Texas. So this is going to be possibly maybe our biggest storm of the years by far. And then later on by Tuesday, it moves into mainly a northeastern storm, but it will actually become a nor'easter because that low pressure will actually go off the coast. However, this low pressure is too close to the inland region that it actually will only be an upper northeast snowstorm and not a coastal northeast storm because this low pressure is way too close to the coast. The low pressure will really have to be maybe around here to actually allow snow to come in these areas. It's just too far. Almost basically inland. So at this point, it has to only bring snow across more upper regions of the Northeast, like Pennsylvania there, the Great Lakes, and as well in those higher elevations. Now let's see what the European has to say here. So they have very similar, of course, the heavy snow across portions of the upper Pacific Northwest, and this is actually the 12Z, so this is our latest update. But we have a few low pressures that are guiding this moisture here, and it does move more to the south here, and that cold high pressure is moving more to the south as well. It is a perfect scenario for some snow across the southern plains, and that's exactly what we'll be seeing, kind of see as the low pressure does move more to the south. So does that snow, but extremely widespread snow across portions of the southern United States region, from Texas, New Mexico, all the way to areas like Kansas City and Louisiana, and as well as far north as Nebraska. So it's going to get really widespread. And of course, then it does make its way more towards the Gulf Coast. I mean, we're talking extremely heavy snow for Memphis, extremely heavy snow across areas like Jackson, Mississippi, Alexandria, Louisiana, Houston as well. Going to get some nice snow, so it's going to be a almost historic storm at this point with historic temperatures. And there you see very widespread snow across the Great Lakes for like Indianapolis, Detroit. Could see some very nice snowfall totals across Lake Erie and Lake Huron. But look at the snow. I mean, it literally gets near Mobile, Alabama. We have not seen snow in Mobile in quite a while. I mean, I don't even think Mobile got snowed in Windstorm Benji, but we're talking all the way from Mobile, Alabama, areas like Hattiesburg, Mississippi, to areas like Boston, Massachusetts. I mean, this is definitely a significant snowstorm here. Heavy snow, and as well dangerous icy conditions for the freezing line regions there, like West Virginia, Kentucky, Tennessee. You guys may see some dangerous icy conditions, and of course, it does become a nor'easter as that low pressure is going to be just off the coast here. So it will be a defined nor'easter, but of course, it'll keep that snow more off the coast here, more into areas like Pennsylvania, upstate New York, central New York, Ohio, as well making its way more towards New England. But snowfall totals, this is actually the European snowfall totals, and there you see this main storm. I mean, it's so widespread, it literally takes up almost half the snow map of the United States for the next few days. But of course, we're going to be seeing some good snowfall totals across the four corner states. We'll see around maybe some scattered areas. Scattered areas may get around a foot or so across central New Mexico and portions as well Utah can maybe get near 2 feet of snow in those higher elevations, but it won't be it won't be as widespread. Make it an inch for Kansas City, a few inches there for Dodge City, but it's going to get a lot more significant when it does make its way more towards the northeast here, where that low pressure does strengthen. But could get around half a foot across portions of Oklahoma City there, maybe 3 to 5 inches for Dallas, but right here is where it's going to be really impressive. We may see half a foot across areas like Texarkana, maybe 8 inches near, maybe we may get near 8 inches across Monroe, Louisiana, maybe 3 to 5 inches there near Little Rock. Possibly, guys, near 8 inches to 9 inches for downtown Nashville. So really looking at the bullseye to be right here on the Mississippi River Basin, right there, like Memphis, the border with Arkansas and Mississippi. Right there is where we get a lot of that snow. Areas like Tupelo may get around 6 inches of snowfall. Areas like Huntsville may get around a trace or so. But look at that. It's going to be a big storm across the Northeast and Ohio Valley. It can get maybe 7 inches there across Columbus, maybe 5 inches for Indianapolis. May get near 10 inches there near Bowling Green, Kentucky. 8 to 10 inches across portions of Cincinnati, much of Kentucky. And it'll make its way, of course, all the way to New England, where much of the upper Northeast can get over 8 inches of snow. And more detailed look, you can kind of see the South Central. We're going to get around 3 to 5 inches near Dallas, but the heaviest snow will kind of be more towards eastern Texas there, near the border with Arkansas and Louisiana, like Beaumont. You guys may get maybe a trace or so. Houston may get around 1 inch to 2 inches as well, but look at Austin. May get a whopping 3 to 5 inches of snowfall where those warnings are placed. Even El Paso may get anywhere from a trace to 3 inches, which is absolutely crazy because they average 0 inches per year. And then, of course, the heaviest snow will be right off the Mississippi River Basin, like Memphis, far western Mississippi, far eastern Arkansas, and as well portions of northeastern Louisiana. But this is now a look at what we're going to be seeing throughout the Tennessee and Kentucky Valley. Look at that. Nashville may get around 8 to 10 inches of snowfall, and areas just to the south may get around 7-ish inches there. Could get a good amount of snow for upper Mississippi, of course, maybe over half a foot, 8 to 9 inches there, maybe even 10 across Memphis, Cincinnati, around 8 inches of snowfall. It's going to kind of be more of a limited region here, right here in this small little area where that low pressure can be a perfect location to bring that very heavy snow. And then the general mid-Atlantic, you can kind of see looking at half a foot across much of Pennsylvania there. A big storm for Cleveland ahead. Detroit may get 3 to 5 inches of snow. Toledo may get 5 to 6 inches of snowfall. And you can kind of see it's going to avoid the coast areas because this low pressure is way too close to bring in any snow or frozen precipitation anywhere near the coast. But big storm ahead for Albany, big storm ahead for the State College region, Pittsburgh, Erie, Pennsylvania, Buffalo, Albany, Syracuse, and as well in those higher elevations there in the Appalachians. But here's a general look at what the GFS has to say here. And you can kind of see we are going to be getting some decent snow across portions of the whole region right here from the Great Lakes down to the Gulf Coast. I mean, this is absolutely crazy what we'll be seeing in these areas. Up to maybe a half foot or more across the upper Northeast, as well as portions of the Great Lakes. And that'll stretch all the way down to Louisiana. So we're talking millions, between areas like southern Texas to all the way to Maine, where we'll be seeing at least some areas that will get over half a foot. That's well over 2,000 miles. I mean, that's basically like going to Maine to like Wyoming. That's basically what it's equivalent to. But you kind of just move a little this to right there, and that's kind of how you're looking at right there. So we're looking at a very widespread area of extremely heavy snow, whether it's Columbus, Cincinnati, Alexandria, Jackson, Mississippi, surprisingly Nashville, Memphis, all the areas like Burlington. But this is what the GFS has to say for the South Central, getting up to 10 to 11 inches there just to the north of Houston. So the GFS is actually taking this way more towards the south, getting up to 4 to 5 inches for Houston. 3 to 4 inches there for Dallas. Portions of Oklahoma City can get around 5 to 6 inches. But look right here. Areas near Jackson, Mississippi can get 7 to 8 inches there. And Tupelo can get 6 to 8 inches. And then we now move towards the Kentucky and Tennessee Valley. Nashville getting around 6 to 7 inches. They kind of have decreased quite a bit. Around 6 to 8 inches there across Cincinnati. Portions of Lexington as well. However, the GFS is showing a very, very big difference between the European. You can kind of see the only showing around 3 to 4 inches for Memphis. But Europeans getting a whopping 8 to 9 inches there. A big difference as well for areas like Missouri, Arkansas. They have a very, very big differences here, as really big differences. They get half foot for Huntsville when European only gets around a trace. So definitely something very interesting to really watch out for. But there you see that snow across portions of the Ohio Valley. They're going to the northeast. The only thing they really agree with is this will be more of an upper northeastern storm, getting around 2 to 3 inches there for Detroit, maybe half foot across Cleveland, and getting some scattered areas that just might get under a foot across Pennsylvania, inland New York, and as well getting towards New England. And get a big threat as well as the ice. We can get up to maybe just less than a tenth of an inch here. So it's going to be it's not a big number, but it's still going to be very major and have a big effect on the southern roads here as well, and power lines where they obviously aren't really too used to that. And then we may get near a 20th of an inch here. You see, that's going to be very actually dangerous across these areas, especially if it's all the way down near far southern Texas where we don't really usually see this. So it may be small, but it's going to do a lot of damage against these southern trees that really aren't used to it. Coming from when I dealt the ice storm in 2014, I mean, we didn't get too much ice, but it still cost power to go out for I think it was like a few days. So this is going to be a big deal. Getting near over half an inch of ice now. That's a big issue no matter what. So no matter where you are, half an inch of ice is dangerous. So it doesn't sound like a lot because you're used to hearing snow, but ice is a lot heavier, and it will take down power lines, take down tree limbs. It'll cause dangerous traveling conditions like what we saw in Dallas and Fort Worth. And then this is when it gets really bad. Just under an inch of ice across Louisiana, far southern Louisiana. Now that will be an absolute massive threat here. Getting to now Tuesday, the ice does go stretch from Mississippi all the way to areas like New York City here. Can get some scattered areas across the mid-Atlantic and as well just outside the Appalachians where we can get maybe a tenth of an inch of ice, but most of that ice will actually be way down to the south here, which we don't usually see too much. So this is going to be a very weird storm. And then this is when the ice becomes a very large threat, up to just maybe under an inch there across Pennsylvania. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to subscribe and see you guys later.